April 4, 1991, Clinton, Missouri. A 20-year-old pregnant woman is speaking to her fiancé from a payphone. She's laughing, teasing him. It's just another night. Then her tone changes. She says there's a strange man circling her car. A truck she doesn't recognize. Moments later, her fiancé hears her scream. The line goes dead. And just like that, Angela Hammond vanished into the night. No struggle. No blood. No body. Just a small-town mystery that would haunt Missouri for decades. Clinton was the kind of town where nothing ever really happened. Tucked quietly in west-central Missouri, it was a place of community potlucks, unlocked doors, and familiar faces. The pace of life was slow, deliberate, and safe. Angela Hammond loved that about Clinton. She was 20, bright, and full of life. She worked at the local bank. She had a laugh that echoed across rooms and a smile that softened even the worst moods. She was the kind of person who made people feel seen. And for Rob Schaefer, her high school sweetheart, she was everything. They had been together for years. Rob, the football star with a wide grin and a soft heart, had proposed not long before. Angela said yes. They were young, but it was real. And now, Angela was 4 months pregnant. They were building something. A family. A future. On the night of April 4th, Angela was with friends at a barbecue. Rob had stayed home to babysit his younger brother. The night was warm, quiet. Nothing unusual. At around 11:15 p.m., Angela left the get-together and stopped at a payphone downtown. It sat on the corner of a grocery store parking lot, lit by a flickering streetlight, the only bright spot on an otherwise dark street. She wanted to check in on Rob. Back then, there were no cell phones. Just dimes, nickels, and payphones. What started as a casual, loving conversation would become a recorded goodbye. Angela's voice came through the receiver soft and sweet. She joked about her headache. They talked about mundane things. What they'd do the next day. Baby names. Then, Angela mentioned something odd. A man unfamiliar, unsettling had pulled into the parking lot in a green Ford pickup truck. He was circling around. She said he was using a flashlight to look for something. Rob told her not to worry. Maybe he dropped something. Maybe he was just weird. But Angela's voice dropped. It was subtle. The kind of shift you only hear when you're paying attention. He's back, she said. He's just standing here. She described the truck. Older model. Green. A strange decal in the rear window. Maybe a fish or a skull. It stuck out. Then came the scream. Rob's heart stopped. The phone dropped. Silence. He didn't wait. He jumped in his car, an old 1960s model vehicle, and floored it toward the payphone. He was only a few minutes away. As he tore down the road, headlights flashed in the opposite lane. A truck. A green truck. And as it passed, he heard it. Rob. Rob. It was Angela's voice, coming from inside. Rob threw his car into a U-turn, tires screeching. He chased the truck through the night, his heart in his throat. But the truck was newer. Faster. It veered off the main road and vanished into the darkness like a phantom. Back at the payphone, police would later find Angela's car. Still running. Door open. Purse on the seat. But Angela was gone. There was no blood. No evidence of a fight. Just the memory of her scream and the nightmare now beginning. Clinton police responded immediately. Rob, disoriented and desperate, tried to piece together every detail he'd seen. The truck. The decal. The silhouette. The voice. At first, Rob was a suspect, as many partners often are in missing persons cases. But there were no signs he was lying. His story didn't change. His grief was raw. And most importantly, there were no signs of foul play inside Angela's car or apartment that pointed to him. Detectives canvassed the area. Hundreds of people were interviewed. Roadblocks were set up. Sketches were released. Pickup trucks were inspected. Every green Ford in a 100-mile radius became a lead, and every lead turned to dust. Even the distinctive decal Rob remembered so clearly something that should have been easy to identify, never led to a match. News of Angela's disappearance spread like wildfire. For a small town like Clinton, this wasn't just a crime, it was a reckoning. People stopped going out at night. Women refused to walk anywhere alone. Teenagers who once loitered at gas stations now hurried straight home. The grocery store with the payphone became a site of whispered tragedy. Angela's parents were broken. Her mother, Marcia, began driving through rural roads for hours, just looking. She hung posters. She begged for help. She sat through interviews with teary eyes and clenched hands, hoping that maybe, just maybe, someone would say, "I saw her." But no one ever did. Not long after Angela vanished, investigators began to consider a chilling possibility, that she wasn't the only one. Earlier that year, Trudy Darby, a woman from nearby Max Creek, was abducted and murdered. Just 2 weeks before Angela's disappearance, Cheryl and Kenny vanished under similar circumstances. All 3 women. All late at night. All alone. All in Missouri. Could there have been a serial predator? A traveling kidnapper? Authorities explored the theory, but there was no solid forensic link between the cases. Just terrifying coincidence or something more sinister. The years went by. The flyers faded. The tips stopped coming. Angela's name would appear occasionally in documentaries, in newspaper retrospectives, in Reddit forums filled with digital detectives desperate for answers. DNA tests were run. Serial killers were questioned. Cold case units reviewed the file again and again. Each time, Angela's case resurfaced like a ghost. Each time, it went cold again. Rob moved on, but the pain never left. In interviews, he chokes up remembering her voice, that scream, that one final chance to stop it, lost forever. He's still haunted by it. By what he couldn't do. By what she might have gone through after that line went dead. There was no funeral. No gravesite. No moment of closure. Angela Hammond simply disappeared. Her baby never got a name. Her wedding dress was never worn. Her parents were never able to say goodbye. Every year, on April 4th, the Hammond family relives that night. And every year, they ask the same question. How does someone vanish like that and no one knows anything? The Clinton Police Department still lists Angela's case as open. Cold, but open. And the smallest tip could change everything. In 2020, a man came forward claiming to have information about her disappearance, but like many leads, it fizzled. Still, Marcia Hammond says she'll never stop hoping. "If Angela is out there somewhere," she once told reporters, "I hope she knows we never stopped looking." Angela Hammond wasn't just another face on a missing poster. She was a daughter, a fiancé, a mother-to-be, a young woman with dreams, with a future. And she deserves justice. If you know anything, no matter how small, contact your local law enforcement or the Clinton Police Department. Because cases like this don't die. Not really. They wait. For one voice. For one witness. For one break that could bring Angela home. Subscribe for more true crime. If Angela's case deserves to be seen and remembered. Like, share, and subscribe to Crime Chronicles 365 for more crime documentaries that keep the unsolved from being forgotten. Because justice doesn't expire, nor does hope. At Crime Chronicles, every crime leaves a trace and we follow it.